Yeah, so hi, good evening again, everyone. So this is, as Firdausi mentioned, this would be a continuation of the part two to our webinar series on how workforce reduction with AI tools. So what we're going to do from follow-up. So if you were part of the uh, first webinar, you would have seen the overview of our whole AI tools solutions that would help optimize your workforce, reduce your workforce. So in this, we would go into a deeper depth on how AI voice bots would do this process. So yeah, so let's begin. A few ground rules that Firdausi had laid before itself. That please go keep your mics on mute. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to put it in the chat. We will go through every question at the end of it so that everyone can participate in the whole question answer session. So perfect. So let's go ahead. Um, yeah, so ideally what we would be doing during this webinar or covering during this webinar is ideally first I would obviously want to give an introduction to what voice bots are and lay the base foundation for it. A few statistics, how voice workforce optimization has evolved over time, how the astTECS voice bot solution works, the key aspects of it, other models where we can implement voice bots, a demo of the solution. So we would go through multiple types of demos, different voices, how this can impact your workforce reduction, different use cases. And I also, similar to the last webinar, I also want to bring in some sort of calculation so that this is not just theory where it is maybe you think I'm assuming that this would bring down workforce. It would optimize your workforce or reduce workforce, bringing on overall cost efficiency, productivity efficiency. I would also put numbers to these words so that everyone knows, yes, what is being shown here is actual numbers. And then we would conclude. So so let's begin. Yeah, so one what we wanted to ideally emphasize on is again, like I mentioned before, this is a part of a bigger umbrella that astTECS offers, which is our AI voice bot suite. So within our AI voice bot suite, we have voice bots, which we would be talking about today. We have chatbots. Now, is an upcoming webinar that you can also pre-register. The links will be out soon, which will be on the 25th of September. And then we have DocBots, which we would also have a deep dive webinar in the coming time. So this is the astTECS voice bot suite, the sorry, not the voice bot suite, but the AI bot suite. So you have voice bots, chatbots, and DocBots, three very powerful systems which can work as independent systems as well as uh, work with each other to increase overall efficiency. So so I just wanted to give also an overview of what is the evolution of an workforce automation. So now we are all in a time period where we are witnessing the next revolution of workforce automation. So, like for example, in the earlier, the most predated form of workforce automation was the pre-industrial revolution, where people started making tools and mechanisms to make work more optimized. It could be in terms of a simple pulley, but those days these pulleys were revolutionary. Now, from a pulley came the whole industrial revolution where you had your production lines, you had certain standards that were set in place, all this to make workforce more optimized. So these were different chunks of revolutions that happened during time. Now, earlier 20th century, we had computers, we had mainframe software. So again, I'm not very sure if everyone has seen the video. Maybe in the mail also, I will later after the webinar, I can link this video as well, where early computers, there is a video that was released by MS Office where a person standing in a lift and he does a drag and drop and it autofills columns on his Excel sheet. So that was revolutionary at that time. Now, at that time itself, the the role of someone sitting and filling this data would have been done by say 20 people. Now what happened is with the drag and drop, he reduced workforce, he optimized it, he reduced the errors. So that was itself revolutionary at its time in workforce optimization. Now late 20th century, we got personal computers, everyone had access to computers. There was process automations, there were systems that came into place where if A happened, B happened. So there were triggers that were set in place. All these automations were brought in. Then came the early 21st century, which was the dawn of the AI and ML process. There were robotics. Now, AI and ML was in the earlier 20th century just coming up into the mainstream. And now today we know it where AI ML is sitting at its peak, where there is a lot of work, there's a lot of investments going into AI and ML. There's a lot of research. So there are people who are focusing specifically on certain topics. Even companies are taking sub or smaller chunks of AI and ML subjects to work on it. For example, you have companies that are specialized in video generation. There's image generation, or there's companies like us who are specialized in conversational bots. So these are systems. This is the uh, workforce optimization of our generation, or our our current time period. And I think we should all be happy we can get to witness this change in our time. So now let's begin with what are voice bots. So uh, what voice bots are intelligent softwares designed to interact with humans through human voice. So it is that just like me and you are talking right now, there would be just a bot on the other side. It could be that maybe 1 year from now I might not even have to take this webinar. It could be a bot sitting here and saying this whole webinar, because AI and ML, the whole bots would have evolved at such a good rate where the bot can handle this whole process. So in a voice bot scenario, if when two people are talking on the phone, there's humans on both sides. In the voice bot scenario, there would be a bot on one side, but it is so intelligent and so good at doing what it's understood to do that you wouldn't really know the difference. So even later on during the whole presentation, we would go through different things like how to different voices, different languages, different understandings of the bot, all that. So it would help give you a much clearer idea of what voice bots are. So, few stats that I want to point out where it is not just us who have done extensive research on voice bots. There are very well-known companies that are also have done these researches. So Smith AI has shown said that 40% reduction is there in by implementing AI voice bots. Forrester has also seen they have a 50% reduction in labor costs due to automation. Emerald is claiming there's a 30 to 50%. Now, McKinsey and Company, very well-known company, McKinsey and Well, they're saying there is a $1.3 trillion service cost saving in the global market because of using systems like these. So now, how this 1.3 trillion or how this huge chunk of money in saving actually comes into play is something when we go later on, you can actually see the mathematics and know where we stand today in terms of cost, today in terms of efficiency, today in terms of productivity to what we are proposing would bring down your cost, increase your productivity, increase your efficiency of the process. So now key aspects of a voice bot. So these are the main three baselines of a voice bot. You have natural language processing. So by natural language processing, we mean that the bot can understand what you say. Like I mentioned before, we want the bot to talk to you and converse with you as if it was another person on the other side of the phone. We want to get it as close to that as possible. So it could be that you could earlier systems, how this used to work is the bot used to understand keywords. Say I said I want to go to the mall. The bot would understand mall, and then it would only register if the word mall was there. But now what we have done is it is understanding natural language. So I can talk to it saying that that sentence I want to go to the mall can be phrased in any 100 different ways. But if the bot is intelligent enough to understand that context, it would understand and pick up what has to be done. Now, there is text to speech, because obviously when you say it, we have to feed it into the bot. So there is a text to speech engine and also a speech to text engine. Now, these speech to text and text to speech engines are large language models. Um, these speech to text, text to speech engines are large language models. So what these models would behind each of these models, just not the text to speech and speech to text, but also the natural language processing. These are just the models that you would see in front, but In the background, there are other hundreds of smaller models that run to maybe humanize voice, to have translation, to have to break it into segments. So there are multiple other models that run. These are the main three models based on which the other models are there. So these are, you can think of it as the superset models. So how the AI voice bot works, this is a very, again, an overview flow. Again, when we go through the whole thing, it does get into detail, more and more detail throughout the whole presentation. So say, for example, this is a incoming call process. So AI voice bots can work on incoming and outgoing calls. Later, I will also show you an example of an outgoing call. So this is an incoming call process. Now, in an incoming call process, say there is, you are a service-based company. Now you have the astTECS AI server, and then there's an incoming call coming to the server. This could be via your SIP trunk, your PRI, your GSM, anything. It's connected to the server. The call lands to the servers. Now, when the call lands to the server, it wouldn't. So in a normal call center, it would go to a queue. In the queue, it would wait. If there's an agent available, it would pass it to that agent. Now, rather in this process, what would happen is it would directly be answered. So there is no waiting time for your customer. Instantly, the bot would answer the call. The bot would interact with the person. Now, the bot would, when someone says something, it would convert it to speech. It would pass it to its knowledge base and its AI engine. The AI engine would ultimately take a decision on what to be said. Based on that, the speech would be converted to text and then sent back to the AI server. So this continuous process of this loop would keep running as long as a customer interacts with the bot, and then the bot would try solving the problem. So the bot would try understanding what the problem is. It would try giving suggestions. Now, it doesn't have to be a it doesn't have to be a, say, a question and answer. It could be something like, my router is not working, what should I do now? So we can train the bot to go through the steps. Maybe step one, turn off your router, wait for 30, and then wait for 30 seconds, and the bot would say, I'll wait on call with you for 30 seconds. So the bot, after 30 seconds, the bot would ask, has the green light come? So it is everything your support engineer would do, that the bot would handle that whole process. So now, think of it in terms of productivity. At a given call center which has, say, 1,000 or a hundred agents, what would happen is, if there are 100 calls coming in, then the whole call center is running on full efficiency. But now the 101st call is, has the person has to wait in queue. But on the same time, if you had the bot, there is no one who's waiting in queue, and most probably your 100 agents could be brought down to, say, 20 agents, because all these tasks like this could be handled by the bot. So ultimately, you're saving huge on costs. You're actually increasing your productivity. You have specialists for each of your roles. Now, why I have also put an agent here is that, see, now there are processes where maybe the bot does not know what to say, or it is not trained for that specific question. See, one thing is that the bot, you have to think of the bot as a efficient employee. Now, if the bot knows it, it would say it, just like what your employee does. It is not that the bot, we can connect the bot to third-party systems and take information from there, but for its knowledge base and other systems like that, what we ideally suggest is that you restrict your bot's knowledge base to what you feed it, so that you have control over what data it gives out. So now, say for example, the bot doesn't know this. It can always say, sorry, I don't know the answer to this. I am passing the question, or I'm passing this call on to an agent. So that is where I earlier mentioned your 100 seaters would become a 20 seater. This 20 seater would be ideally handled by the bot. And maybe in a lot of cases that we have seen, it's not even 20 seats. You can, most probably, the bot handles a huge chunk of the calls, that you can do it with 10. Out of the 10, two of them are the managers itself. Now, it doesn't also have to be an instance where the bot doesn't know things. It could be based on your process, where if you are a restaurant, or you are a hotel, you are a resort, you want to say that when a customer reaches the stage where his booking is almost confirmed, pass it to an agent to close the case. So when the bot figures out, okay, this case is almost closed, I've got all the details to close the case, but pass it to the agent. The agent would handle the closing of the case, where maybe there is some price negotiation, or they have to have make a payment also we can integrate, but a lot of systems, they want the agent to close that. So defining based on the process that is defined by you, we can also define when to pass it to an agent, what would be handled by the bot. So because at astTECS we develop the bot solution, so we have total control over what and how the bot does things. Now, another model that is similar to the previous model is that now in this model we would, so there are companies that have come to us where they have existing bot solutions. So as in existing bot solutions where they have, say, a chatbot, and they have the knowledge, they have the AI capabilities to do this. So then what they want is the telecom side of it. They want us to handle the telecom side. So the calls are routed through our voice gateway. So we have an astTECS voice gateway. So the calls are routed through this voice gateway to have, so that it would interact with their bot, get the reply, and then a message tell the customer. Similarly, in this voice gateway itself, we can also have agents, pass it to agents, just like what happens in the previous model. But here, except astTECS is not developing the bot solution, astTECS is developing the intermediary solution for the telecom, which is the voice gateway. So yeah, so that is another model that we can also do. Now, how these voice bots work. So we do have a platform that is built. Now, when I say we have a platform that is built, we have a platform where you can upload campaigns, figure out configure. So how this works is you would go to a platform, you would create a campaign, and then you would configure the campaign on a set of parameters. So again, when we go through the demo, I will show you this. After this, you would upload a list. So uploading a list would ideally mean it is an outbound campaign, but you can also, in terms of an inbound campaign, when an inbound campaign comes, what we can do is we can register it in the logs. So the voice bots work for inbound and outbound processes. Now, once you upload a list, you can link it to the campaign and you can start the campaign. So you can set parameters if you want to start the campaign at the same time, or you want to maybe schedule it for 2 days later. So you would start the campaign, and then once that happens, the bot takes over. Now, after the bot takes over, the bot would automatically start the calling. It would process the calls, and on the live dashboard, you can see what is happening right now. At the same time, in the logs, you can see all the details of the call, all the details of the record, the call recording, the transcription, and multiple other things you can see and live, so that you know what is actually happening. So just like you would manage a call center where you have 100 agents and you see live, yes, this call, this is happening. Here in the bot scenario, you would have much more information because everything is instantly being logged. So you can see at a given time what stage the bot is in, what is happening, what is the input given by the user. All that is possible in the platform. So let's just go through the demo. Just give me a second. I'll just share my browser. Yeah, I hope everyone can see this. So this is our platform. So now, say I would just log in. Yeah. So over here, what this is the live dashboard. So if there was an active campaign that is running right now, you would see all active campaigns, its campaign name, what is the phone number or the display number. The DIDs can also be defined, the campaign ID, the call status, and the number of channels currently being used. Now, answer drops. So this would show you how many answer and drop calls are there. So for example, now in this campaign, there were 22 drops, this many answers. Another campaign, how many answer and drop. So this gives you an overview of your current running campaigns. So that is the dashboard. So we have other modules, which is the campaign, contacts, call logs. So we would go through that one by one. So what I'll do is while we go through it as well, I will create the process as well. So let's go, we can add a campaign. Say this is webinar demo. I can select which language I want. I can also select the campaign status if I currently want it, or if it is a scheduled campaign. Out of this, I can say which voice file. So there are multiple voice methods also. So I can select which of the different voices I want, how many channels I want to use in this campaign. Maybe you have 2, 3 campaigns that are running and you want to set a priority. Maybe there is a campaign that is running for a very important process, and you want those calls to be finished before anything else. You can set higher channels for that campaign and lesser channels for another campaign. So that is one thing. You can give the start date. So I'll give the start date today. Start time. So 3:30. No, 3:30 is too early for this because it's just 3:30 now. 3:40. And then this would finish maybe at 10 today. I wanted to retry twice if the person doesn't answer. And I can also link an FAQ. So what I mean by linking an FAQ is I can link a knowledge base to this, which is a pre-trained model, where if in case someone asks any random question in the middle as well, the bot can answer it. Now I can select what type of process. So these are different flows that are configured. So these flows would be created for your organization and your requirements specifically, and then save. So I've created a campaign. Now I can go to contacts. Within contacts, I can create a list similar to this and then upload contacts to this list. So what we'll do for this webinar is I will just go to the campaign and add a contact. So I can go there, contacts. I'll just add a contact to this so everyone knows it's already saved here. Yeah. Yeah. So I've added this contact. So now at 3:40, I would get a call. So this is now scheduled. Now at 3:40, I would get a call from the bot with the flow of this. So while that is happening, while we wait for 3:40 to happen, I will also take you through the other parts of the thing. So now you have your call logs. Now call logs, here you can see these were tested before as well. So say Abu Korean, this call, this was a webinar test demo. And then you have a call duration, you have the disposition. These are all information that was passed into it. As well as a call recording URL and the transcript. So all these are saved within the server. And based on if you require it or not, we can enable and disable these features. So maybe it is your space is restricted, we can also enable and disable these features. So that is the basics of this interface, where you have a dashboard, you have campaigns, you have contacts, and you have call logs. So dashboard gives you the live information. Campaigns will take you through the whole process of creation and management. Contacts let you upload contacts, large lists for maybe outbound campaigns, record contacts for inbound campaigns, and then call logs would show you your detailed call logs. So yeah, so that is what. So I can, what we'll do is while we're waiting for that, we will also go through the other parts of this. Yeah. So so there are certain use cases. So use cases for this would be cold calling. So like I mentioned, you can upload large lists, and then the bot would automatically call these people, ask these people if they're interested in the product. Now when they say they're interested, we can either make the bot close this case, or the bot can if the bot doesn't close the case, we can pass it to an agent. Similar to cold calling, you can have lead filtration. Now, lead filtration again does not have to be outbound. It could be inbound, where when the incoming lead comes, we could filter this lead based on certain set of parameters. Now, if the parameters are good, then we would call it as a qualified lead, and then it can start the process. Appointment setting. So for appointment setting, I can also show you an example right now. So if anyone cannot hear my screen, so this is one of the examples that we have made for a hospital. I'll play it in English for now, and then we can also show you in different languages. So I hope
Assistance
I
in fixing an appointment, getting details of the facilities, and transferring call to a department. Let me know.
I would like to make an appointment.
Which department are you looking for?
Looking for cardiology.
We have two doctors available, Dr. Kalam and Dr. Alex. Which doctor do you prefer?
I prefer Dr. Kalam.
We have available slots for today, or if you would like to book for another day, just tell me when you want to make appointment.
Book it for tomorrow.
Say yes if you are ready to confirm the booking, else say no.
Yes.
Thank you for confirming. Your appointment with Dr. Kalam in cardiology department on tomorrow has been confirmed. Have a nice day. If you would like to know any more details, please feel free to ask. Else say no.
No, thank you.
Thank you for your
So as you can see in that example, what is what has happened is the bot has asked for a certain set of parameters. So the bot has asked if you want to book an appointment now, which of the we have in cardiology, we have these two doctors available. Which date do you want it? So now even when it is instances like these are the two doctors or this is the schedule of the doctors, we can integrate our AI system with other systems like your appointment scheduling or their Google Calendar, any of this to know the available schedules and then confirm bookings. Now, it could also be that in this example, it doesn't have to be that the flow is a confirmed flow. As in, it's the first the bot asks for which department, the bot then asks which doctor, and then the bot asks when do you want it. I could always pick up the phone and tell the bot, um, I want to book an appointment tomorrow with Dr. Kalam at cardiology. So then the bot would understand the department's cardiology, the doctor is Dr. Kalam, and then the time is tomorrow. And the bot would say, okay, thank you. Please confirm your place. Say yes to confirm your booking. The bot says yes. The human says yes, and well and good. The confirmation is done. So this is the beauty of having an NLP based system where it can identify different intents and entities based on conversation. Um, Now, similar to that, you have order tracking. Now, order tracking as well is something where you have large call centers, and these large call centers almost always cater 90% of their calls are to systems where um, it is almost repetitive questions where is my order? I want to replace my order. What is the current status of my order? I want a refund. All these processes can be handled. All these redundant processes can be taken care by the bot itself. Now, FAQs also have uh, large value in this. So it could be FAQs where you are a college or a school where you want to now have admission processes. So it can handle your whole life cycle of the admission on call, as well as if the student has any doubts or any clarity they need on specific topics, that can also be done. So, so those are processes where you can have, those are processes, sorry. Yeah, so those are processes where you have FAQ, and based on the FAQ and what you have trained the bot would be able to answer. So, yeah, and then there is debt collection. So, debt collection is also one place where you have frequent calls, you have to have a schedule for calls, and these calls have to be made in schedule where you're saying at a given day in minus 2 days due, 10 days due, 15 days due. These calls have to keep going. So multiple clients of ours have debt collection processes, and maybe I can also show you a sample of a debt collection process. So
ahead. मैं फाहिम के साथ बात कर रहा हूँ।
हाँ जी, बोलिए।
रिकॉर्ड के अनुसार आप 3,500 की ईएमआई राशि के साथ ऋण संख्या 1354 के प्राप्त करता है। कृपया पुष्टि करें कि क्या भुगतान आज तक किया जा सकता है।
हाँ जी, आज कर सकते हैं।
आपके पंजीकृत फोन नंबर पर
So this is in Hindi for debt collection, where you have the person speaking back also in Hindi. So the bot is also speaking in Hindi, and the person was also speaking in Hindi. The bot can live understand these conversations and then act based on those. So these are a few use cases. There are many more use cases that can be implemented, and so yeah, these are just a few use cases and a very broad spectrum of it. Now, languages, when it comes to bots, bots can speak in a variety of languages. So our current bot is trained on 103 languages, where we have almost every well-known Indian language as well as languages around the world. So, for example, I just put down 6 languages here. So, first row is Indian languages. So, we have English, Hindi, Tamil, and then lower we have Arabic, we have German, we have Spanish. So, um, what I can what I can do is, again, I can show you a few examples of the bot speaking in different languages as well. So we can start with Arabic. So all these, just to give you a pretense, all these are just part of the one part of the speech, because I really couldn't speak back to it. So it is just that, and there was no interaction. So it was just a bot starting the call.
صباح الخير، أنا أتصل من شركة بجاج المالية، هل أتحدث إلى جاكوب؟
So that was in Arabic. So the same conversation can be done in English, in German.
Guten Morgen, ich rufe von Bayai Finance an. Spreche ich mit Jakob?
So that is in German, and then we can also do this in Spanish.
Buenos días, estoy llamando de Bajaj Finance. ¿Estoy hablando con Jacob?
So just like this, you have a huge range. So I've just taken a small example. I've just taken a small example here, but again, the possibilities are endless on what all can be done. Yeah. So what all languages can be used is a very vast language. So we have 103 languages, and fluency to understand and speak purely depends on how popular the language is. 1 second. Yeah, fluency to understand and speak just purely depends on how popular the language is. Now, so these are what about the languages that the bot has. Now, so these are the few examples that I just wanted to share with you. Now, impact on workforce reduction. So, how this impacts your workforce reduction. So, how bots like this can take over. So, now as we have seen a lot of these processes itself, now we can see that there is a huge reduction in manpower when the bots come into place in just these 6. Now, when you talk about a larger industry and all the other processes where the bots can take over, automated and repetitive tasks do get handled a lot by the bot. Now, cost efficiency as well. In terms of cost efficiency, if you can see huge money saving on this. So again, when we go later on in the webinar, a few slides after this, I will also show you numbers to this point which says cost efficiency. And then there is productivity and scalability. So in terms of productivity and scalability, what I want mean is that, say today you are a call center with 10 people, or you are a company with 10 people handling maybe 1,000 calls a day. Tomorrow, if you have to scale up to handling 10,000 calls a day, you will have to scale your 100 people to say 200, 300, 400, 500 people. But that cannot happen overnight. In terms for the bot, it is an overnight switch. Maybe in a day or two, you would just have to tune the bot, upgrade its hardware, and that's it. Your bot is well and good to handle the same process, but with a larger scalability. And So when you're thinking about scalability also, a bot and AI systems like these should come into your mind, as they play a very key role in how these processes happen. So for the cost efficiency point, this is the what I wanted to show you. So this is a rough base calculation. So say you wanted to process 10,000 calls today. Now to process 10,000 calls, um, you would have 100 agents. Now, in a voice bot scenario, so in a manual process, 100 agents. In a voice bot scenario, 10 agents. Now, why I've put 10 agents in the voice bot scenario is that, say, I'm also assuming that it is not a 100% voice bot solution. There is maybe when an escalation comes, a call has to be passed here, or any for some fallback or safety net process, I put 10 agents over there. Now, salary plus other costs. So when I say salary plus other costs, I'm including agent salary, their say your electricity cost and all those other hidden processes that are there. So we are saying you pay the agent 20,000 rupees, which is a very base amount. Into 100 agents is 20 lakhs. Now, at the same time, you have the bot. The bot would roughly come around 2 rupees a call, and then even after that, accounting for the 10 agents who we have put as a fallback mechanism, it would come up to uh, this thing 2,20,000. So the whole cost for the voice bot would be 2,20,000, but for the same time, the manual process, it would be 20 lakhs. So you can see the cost wise itself is a one tenth reduction in cost. So now again, in this, I am not accounting for other hidden processes. So there are other hidden costs in the manual process, such as you have to hire employees, might leave, you have to manage employees. Now you have HR, you have other policies. So all those overheads are not even being calculated, and still this is it already is one-tenth of the cost. So now, when in the earlier slide, when the research said that they're saving $1.3 trillion in uh, global customer service, this is most probably one of the very base calculations that could have been done to understand how this huge cost saving, something that was earlier done at 20,000 rupees, 20 lakh rupees, is now done in 2,20,000 rupees. So this is where you have huge cost savings in the process. Now, yeah, so I would to conclude, I would like to tell you the few advantages of the bot that we have been overemphasizing and showing throughout this whole webinar. It is 24/7 available. So again, your voice bot can be thought of as that efficient employee who's always awake, always in the office, and it says only what you want it to say. So and in whichever language you want it to say. Now, 24/7, the bot is available. So we have also seen cases where we've worked with resorts. And so one of our clients, who was a resort, has also seen increase in productivity when there was the bot working for his night shift. So the calls that were not answered in the night shift were also handled. Calls that were not handled in the night shift were handled. The calls that are not handled in the night shift were now taken over by the bot, and then the bot would brief the customer about the whole solution, and then it would create a ticket. So what happens is, even people who came in the night were being attended, and so there was a fast response. Now, scalable, like I mentioned before, it is highly scalable, the model, as in you can have maybe in a day or two's time, the same model had the same process with an upgrade in hardware could handle much more calls. So you would maybe have to upgrade your telephone line and your hardware, and that's it. So telephone line, either way, even if you're upgrading from 10 people to 100 people, you would have to still upgrade your telephone line. So that is already a common cost. Now, just upgrading your hardware instead of hiring 100 more people is a huge saving. Integration. So even in the hospital example that we mentioned, the integration capabilities of the bot are endless. So the bot can integrate with other systems. It could be your hospital management system, your hotel management, your bookings, any other third-party booking sites. We could get information from your website to be trained. So a lot of these possibilities are there where the bot can capture data or get input for certain data from different paths. With different parts or different systems. Now, multilingual support, even in the example today, we have heard, maybe we have heard English, uh, we have heard English, we have heard Hindi, we have heard Spanish, we have heard German, we have heard Arabic. So I can, 1 second. So I have one more language that I can just quickly show you. So we have Telugu as well. So since I mentioned all these 6 languages, I just want to show it, but we have a lot more languages. Since I already have the example
నేను
here.
పౌలోస్ మాట్లాడడం చేస్తున్నా.
అవును, నేను పౌలను మాట్లాడుతున్నాను.
మీరు ఒక రుణ సంఖ్య 356 యొక్క గ్రహీత మరియు ఈఎంఐ మొత్తం 950.
అవునండి.
మీ రిజిస్టర్డ్ ఫోన్ నంబర్కు ఒక SMS లింక్ పంపబడుతుంది. దయచేసి రిజిస్టర్డ్ లింక్ ద్వారా చెల్లింపు చేయండి.
సరే.
మీరు మరిన్ని వివరాలను తెలుసుకోవాలనుకుంటే దయచేసి అడగడానికి సంకోచించకండి, లేకపోతే లేదు అని చెప్పండి.
లేదండి.
మీ సమయం కోసం ధన్యవాదాలు. ఒక గొప్ప రోజు కలిగి.
So that was another example in Telugu as well. So since I did prepare a set of examples to also share in different languages, so I just wanted to show that as well. So that is in Telugu now. Yeah, so we have a large list of languages, and based on your use case, you can come. Based on the case, we can come and we can check and we can see which all languages are feasible. Now, language detection. So language detection is something I really haven't talked about during this webinar, but so the bot can also have a feature where it could be multilingual in terms of it could be set to be multilingual. So you can have 2 types of bots. You can have a bot where you tell the bot, listen Hindi, speak Hindi. But you can also tell the bot, listen any language, and whatever language is spoken to the bot, speak that language. As in, I could tell the bot, I could speak to the bot in English, and then the bot would reply to me in English. But at the same time, if someone spoke to the bot in Hindi, it could speak back in Hindi. Now, so that language detection flow itself opens an endless set of possibilities. Maybe if I'm speaking to it in English, you can have a specific set of flows or specific FAQs. Now, if I'm speaking it to in Hindi, I can have different types of flows, different type. So based on language, also the bot can alter what condition it has. So because you have to understand the bot is not just your earlier if and else, as in if this happens, do this, else if this happens, do this. Now the bot is almost thought of as a network or a large set of questions, answers, conditions. It is a stateless machine where you have lots of conditions, and based on these conditions, you have actions. And conditions does not mean 1 or 2 conditions. There are hundreds of parameters that come into play for every single action to be performed. So based on that, the bot would understand, and then the bot would detect the language, speak back the language. Or I could tell the bot, okay, anytime any person speaks any language, the bot reply back in English itself. So us being the developers of the bot from an end-to-end solution, we have control over all these aspects. Now, reduce costs. Our earlier slides also, you could see that there are reduced costs, as in your overall cost comes around. Now, even in the earlier slide, we saw a 20 lakh process that's happening today. Employing the bot would make the process 2,20,000 rupees. So 1/10 of the cost is already shown by pure numbers. Now passing to an agent, that is what we were showing in these 2 slides as well. So at any instance where you want this, or the organization wants to define that it wants to pass to the agent, it can always pass the call. Sorry, it can always pass the call to the agent. So in doing that, you also know that you're not just letting the bot run for free. There is a human aspect to it till the stage where you're confident enough where you let the bot handle everything. So you can have all these. So apart from these are the main features or the main key points of a voice bot. But apart from this, there are also other features and key points. So that with that, I would like to conclude the webinar. And also, I just want to let you know, since this is a series with where we want to cover all the AI systems that are there in the astTECS AI suite. The next webinar, we would have a deep dive into chatbots as well. So if you have missed the previous webinar, which is the overview of the astTECS AI suite, where I briefly run through all the aspects or all the different three models that we have, the chatbot, voicebot, and docbot. Please feel free to, it's on our YouTube page as well. And at the end of this webinar, you would also be getting a mail with the link to this webinar, so you can rewatch it as well as the previous webinar. So we want to make this a series so that everyone understands different concepts of the astTECS AI suite. So the next webinar would be on the 25th of September, and the topic would be how we can achieve all this using chatbots as well. So thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Handing it over to Firdausi. Thank you so much.
Firdaus, you are on mute. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Thank you, Abu, for giving us insightful knowledge on how the voice bot can optimize or reduce the workforce reductions and optimize the business operation without the interventions of the human being. We have quite a few questions coming up from the participants, which we'll be addressing one by one. Before that, I would like to request all the participants, if you have any queries, you can just drop in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and enable your video and ask directly also. So let's move on to the first questions. First question has come from Mr. Sankar. Mr. Sankar wants to know whether the server is a cloud server or a physical device.
So we do have both models. We can give you an on-prem solution or a cloud solution as well. So depending on how you want it, we can do either of the two models.
Okay. The second came from Mr. Shrikant. Can we have an on-site server over the LAN? I think it's a similar question.
Yeah, so that is similar to what Mr. Shankar has asked. Yes, Mr. Shrikant, you can have it on-site. It can be an on-premises server, and then it can work over LAN. So the model can run completely. We can design the model to run completely offline as well. So it wouldn't even need internet access. So that can also be done.
Okay. The next question is from Mr. Firoz. How many languages does it support? I think you have already covered.
So it supports 103 languages, out of which I have maybe shown you only 6, but based on your use case, we can look into other languages and what it supports. And so 103 languages are what the bot supports.
Okay, I think Mr. Sigvinder has a similar questions in the hardware and the cloud base. So we have a bottom models, bottom premise and a cloud base solution. Okay, the next question has come from Mr. Paresh. Can we have an Indian accent?
Yeah, so I think Mr. Parish, even if you heard the demos now, the Indian voices are Indian accent voices. So yes, we can have Indian accents. Yes.
Okay. From Mr. Rabik, okay, can we check the Arabic language? I think we have already shown that the Arabic languages.
Yeah. So Mr. Rabik, we can also do is we can maybe show you the whole. It's just that I couldn't speak the language, so I couldn't show you the whole demo of it. But maybe we can also show you when we can set up a call maybe later, and then you can speak to the bot and hear the whole demo. We can get that done.
Okay, the next question came from Mr. Valentine. Mr. Valentine, just a moment. Say that, Can the time of the appointment be transacted?
Mr. Valentine, can you tell me? I just need a little clarity on what you mean by can it be transacted? I haven't understood. You can come on. Yeah, you can.
I thought it should be the appointment time, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or.
No, but that is there in the okay. Yeah, Mr. Valentine, if that is what you're
We
asking, yes, we can capture if it is 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. That is possible. If you mean it in any other way, we can also, if you can come online and we can clarify that as well.
I thought the demo has only just tomorrow or
Yeah, so tomorrow
today.
would when a person says tomorrow or today, it would capture that current date, just announcing it as tomorrow. So it would be saved on the next day.
Yeah, yeah,
The
next
bot
day, what
understands.
time is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope Mr. Valentine, your query has been replied. If you have any further question, you can unmute yourself. In the meantime, we'll attend to Mr. Sukhvinder. It is a direct message to me. It said that I'm interested in the school system. Where can I get the more informations? Mr. Sukhvinder, you can elaborate a little bit on your requirement if you have any further questions. You can unmute yourself.
So I think yeah, we can go on another call with sir and then we can see we can
Yeah.
understand his requirement in more detail. We can do that. Yes.
Okay, there is again another direct questions from Mr. Shrikant. It can be customized as per the customer or having a fixed module of bots.
No, no. So these bots are purely customizable. So we understand that there is no same bot scenario. No two companies have the same bot scenario. So our bot scenarios are completely customizable to your organization's requirements. So how the bot is, what the flow is, all those are customizable.
I think in
hope.
between there was a question about the wrong number.
Yes, we checked it. That is, they're fixing the server. I think the wrong number was because the
No, no, I think
sometimes.
it is. No, no, I think it is most probably that is not a mobile number. It is a Bangalore code. So it has
Yeah, I
080
put
has
it.
to be.
Yes, sir, I put it that message that you have to call with the STD code.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, let's move to the next question. Mr. Paresh Sabra said, okay, can our bot speak Marathi also?
Okay, Marathi, I just have to check, Mr. Parish. I think so. It can speak Marathi. I'll just confirm and get back to you. I think it can. I'll just have to
Okay.
check that. I'll just get that.
Next question is from Mr. Akash. If the customer switches the language, how will the bot handle those cases?
So, like I mentioned in the last slide, the bot can be tuned to understand a different set of languages. We can tell the bot to understand or comprehend different languages. So, if the customer does switch also, we don't have to hard code it saying only understand this language. It can understand different languages. I hope that clarifies your doubt, Mr. Akash.
No, also if the customer switches, it can be tuned in such a manner that if the bot also answers in the same language.
Yeah, that can also be done.
Okay. The next question has come from Mr. Ramesh. He said, can the bot speech style, such as the pitch and the tone, can be changed?
Uh, up to a certain level, yes, you can have speech styles. So we have different voices, different pitches, different tones that can be changed. Up to a certain level, yes, all those can be customized.
The next question is from Mr. Nizar. Nizar has said, is a spy call and a call barging features available? If yes, how will AI bot works or respond to the third person a call?
So if it is a spy call, I assume by spy call you mean a whisper, where no, you mean listen, where a third party or a call center manager can listen to the channel. So when that is happening, the bot would not interact, but we can also set it up that if there is a call barge where we have say a supervisor or someone come into the call, we can turn the bot off and then the supervisor and the customer can interact with each other directly. So we can also do that. So we can set it up in either of those two ways.
Okay, thank you. I hope, Mr. Rizal, your query has been replied. If you have any further question, you can unmute and ask. Next question goes to Mr. Anish. For the incoming calls, will the bot have capability to understand the language of the customer and speak to guests in their own language?
Yes, so as hi Anish, so I yes, so it can be possible. So we, like I mentioned in the last slide, the bot can detect language and then reply back in the same language as well. It is a possibility of the bot.
Yeah. Mr. Joshua, this bot is a game changer. Yes, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua.
Yeah. Mr. Anish, again, I think is the continuation of the first question. Are the translation to the voice are available on a live call?
Yes, you can have voice. So I'm assuming you're meaning that if I speak in English and it has to come to the other person, say for example in Hindi, he speaks in Hindi, it comes to me in English. Yes, we can do that as well. So live translation of calls can be done, where the bot acts as your interpreter in the middle. That can also be done. Or say, for example, now if it is one side bot and one side human, and then the person speaks in whatever language, it really doesn't matter what is the input language to the bot. We can manage what the input language to the bot is. Whatever language has to go to the customer can be sent back to the customer.
Okay. The next question is from Mr. Diango. Just a minute. Okay. Mr. Diango has asked, can you share the presentation before the webinar by email? Sure, Mr. Diango, the recording and the presentation of the webinar will be sending after the session. You can check your inbox. Next question, Ashok has said, I have a question. Yes, Mr. Ashok, you can unmute and ask what is the questions you have a query, whatever you have. Okay, Mr. Dango also have a question. Mr. Dango, if you're online, you can unmute and ask questions. Okay, let's move to next question. Mr. Dilip has a question saying our one bot can handle how many concurrent calls?
So bot, how many concurrent calls a bot would be able to handle purely depends on what kind of hardware we supply it and what is your telephone line. So, okay, so one bottleneck is, say you have 30 channels in your telephone line, the bot can handle 30 channels, but also your hardware has to be scaled enough to handle those calls. So how many calls the bot handles is purely based on what the hardware capability of the bot is. So when you come to us and you tell us you want a bot for say 100 calls or say handle 1,000 calls at the same time, the bot, we would design the hardware in that aspect and give it to you so it can handle that volume of calls.
Okay. Thank you, Abu. The next question is, please send your presentation. Surely we'll be sending you the presentation and recording of the session after the webinar. The next question has come from Mr. Joshua. What's the cost implication of the voice bot?
So the cost implication of the voice bot again would depend on one of the factors would be how many concurrent calls you want. That would also define what the hardware is, but also what the flow for the bot is, as in what kind of logics, what kind of systems we have to put in place, because the bot is not a fixed module that we are just installing and handing over. There is a lot of customization, there's a lot of development that is made so that the bot is tuned to your environment. So once you share the flows and all that, our team would get back to you regarding the costs of the bot.
I hope.
But also in relation to the efficiency what it brings, I think we have seen a cost calculation. So normally the boat implementation will have a ROI of 1 to 2 months. That is, whatever is spent on the boat will be recovered in terms of optimization of the workforce or in 1 or 2 months. So that can be kept as a ballpark, because the cost actually depends on, is it a 50 user, is it 100 user, if it is 500 user. So I think a ROI of 1 to 2 months is a good approximation.
Okay, thank you, sir. I hope, Mr. Joshua, your query has been answered. If you have any further questions, we'll be in touch with you with our regional manager so that we can work it out on the cost. The next question is come from Mr. Sanjeev. Are the charges applicable for cloud server? Is there per user, or what will be the charges?
So again, that would similar to the previous question. It would purely depend on what the flow is, what your concurrency is, even if it's on cloud, how many lines of trunk you have. So all these would be factors that define the costing. Again, like Mr. Kurian said before, also there are, even when you're calculating savings on the cost, you have to calculate savings on just not the direct implication, but also on the indirect cost that you're saving when you're putting a bot in place. So ROI would be around 1 to 2 months.
Okay. The next question is, it's another question. The Ajit Kumar has mentioned that this bot site speaking. I'm not very sure what his query is. Mr. Ajit, if you're online, you can unmute and elaborate your whatever the questions you have. The next question has come from Mr. Spandan. It's compatible. Is it compatible to Marathi language? I think it is answered the similar questions before. Okay, Mr. Diango has a question. Do you mean 103 language or a tree? I think he has.
Okay, so it is 103, not 3. We already showed example of 6 languages, so it can't be 3.
Yes.
103 language.
Yeah.
But it's a
Correct.
good question. 103 language.
Yeah. Yes. Mr. Binish has a question. Normally, it is thought that AI implementation is very costly and not affordable. What about this one? Suits the pocket.
Yeah, so see now, because it is the time when a lot of people are bringing out AI systems and all that, everyone thinks all AI systems are costly. So we are putting it in a very affordable bracket where like we said, in 1 to 2 months, you are getting your ROI back. So it does make sense for your organization to implement these kind of solutions.
That means even a smaller organization can start implementing voice bots.
Correct.
Okay.
The next question has come from Mr. Ajit. I think he has trying to relate with the first classroom to chairman. He said that can it speak both sides, and his next question is coming as the classroom to chairman room. I'm not sure what
I
he
think
Mr. Ajit is here. I think maybe if he
Yeah.
has something to say, we can.
Ajit is asking more PA system questions, I think. Ajit?
Yeah. Mr. Ajit, you can unmute and ask the question if you have any questions regarding this.
You're on mute. Ajit, you're on mute.
Yes, yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, we will classroom to another principal room and we will speaking to this speaker, the system.
സാറേ ഇത് PA കുറിച്ചാണോ പറയുന്നത്?
ഇത് PS അതെങ്ങനെ?
PA system, yes, you can. ഞങ്ങളോർത്ത് സാർ ഇപ്പം വോയിസ് ബോട്ടിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ് ചോദിച്ചോണ്ടിരുന്നത്.
അതെ അല്ല ഇത് ഇപ്പം നമ്മളിപ്പോ സ്കൂളിലേക്ക് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ സ്കൂളിൽ കൊടുക്കുവാണെങ്കിലേ എന്തെങ്കിലും എമർജൻസി വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാല് ഇപ്പൊ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനോ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനോ എന്തെങ്കിലും സംസാരിക്കണം അങ്ങനെ നടക്കും അതിനകത്ത്?
ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് ടെലിഫോണിക് സിസ്റ്റം ഉണ്ട്. പിന്നെ വേണമെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് PS സിസ്റ്റമും അറ്റാച്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ട് what can happen is from ഒരു നമ്പർ കുത്തിയ it would announce in all the speakers വല്ല എമർജൻസി ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലോ പ്രിൻസിപ്പളുടെ ക്ലാസ് റൂമിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ക്ലാസ് റൂമിലോട്ട് പറയണമെങ്കിലോ all that is possible. Yes.
Okay.
അത് PAയുടെ ഫീച്ചർ ആണ്.
So what we can do is Melvin, have you talked to Melvin? Can contact. I'll just take your contact and pass it to Melvin.
This is my partner. Sorry, Abu. Sorry for disturb. This is my partner. I'll
Oh,
No
convey the
problem.
message.
Satish.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, let's go to the next question is from Mr. Anuj. Can we have a personal demo available? Sure, we can schedule a personal demo after this session. We will contact you and schedule the demo for this. The next question is from Mr. Sanjeev. Can we integrate our system with the international call?
Yes, so we can integrate your system with any international call center as well. So, like I mentioned, it is about which system you are using in the international call center or whichever call center, that system should give us flexibility to integrate. But we can. From our side, yes, we are open to integrations.
The next question is from Mr. Sanjay. Can we use as an emergency response system in hospital?
Yes, so so if it is more like saying code blue, code red, and then triggering alarms, all that can be done on this voice bot, but also we have also shown demos to multiple hospitals where their ambulance booking services happen through the voice bot as well. Yes, so we can do this.
Okay. The next question has come from Mr. Arvind. Can we have both scenario of inbound and outbound bot?
Yes, so good question, Mr. Arvind. Yes, we can have both inbound and outbound. So even in the webinar, we have shown examples of inbound as well as outbound. So maybe an inbound scenario would be things like FAQs and bookings, appointment setting. Outbound could be things like cold calling, lead filtration. So there are any sort of inbound and outbound process can be done. Yes.
Okay. The next question has been from Mr. Santiago. Cost reduction in terms of manpower. What about the maintenance or support of the bots? How much it will be? I think he has already got the answer. He said my question has been answered too. Thanks. The next question is from Mr. Arvind. What are the different sector or industry to target for the bot segment?
So
Yeah.
Yeah, so based on say for example, one second. Yeah. So different sectors you would have so there are wide range of sectors. You can have schools, hospitals, banks, any sector that is using a telephony system now and has large telephony operations that are in place, or they want to optimize hotels, hospitals, anything, these bots can come into place. Maybe if it's not a voice bot, it could be a chat bot. If not a chat bot, it could be a doc bot. So you have the whole umbrella of the whole purpose of this AI suite, the astTECS AI suite, was to make sure we cover a broad spectrum so that every industry is serviceable.
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope,
you.
Mr. Arvind, you got your answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. The next question has come from Mr. Muhammad Roshan. What kind of servers are required for the solutions?
So for the voice bot solutions, we would obviously need high-end servers which have high computational power. This is to enable the system to process all these models that we were talking about. So a brief overview without going too much into technical spec is, yes, we would need high-end servers with GPUs and to process all these things.
Okay. The next question has come from Mr. Santiago. Is it a one-time payment or there would be an annual payment for the support or a maintenance?
So, Mr. Santiago, again, it would purely depend on what kind of model you're going with us for. So, if it could be an on-prem solution, it could be a cloud solution. So, based on that, so we can take this up case by case and see what kind of system it is. So, if you have any case in mind as well, we can maybe go on a call and we can talk about it.
Okay. So I think we have come to the end of the question and answer sessions. So if anybody has a further query, you can unmute and ask the question, or you can just drop into the chat box before we wrap up.
African languages there.
Uh-huh.
I've seen Luo, I've seen Kamba, and I've seen Swahili. So basically, it fits.
Okay, so it's a
I've seen 3 languages for Kenyan man.
okay, good.
Sure.
Okay. So I think there is no further questions coming up. Mr. Dengo has shared his email address. Thank you so much. We will share you the presentations and the recording of this session, as well as if you have missed out the previous sessions on our AI tools, we'll be sending out the recording session of the same. So thank you so much, all the participants who has come to this webinar for participating in our AI voice bot session. Our next as a continuation of our AI tools series, the next session will be on 25th of September. We will be there. We will have an in-depth knowledge on the chatbot solutions and how it can optimize the business process and reduce the workforce. And as I said, if you have any further questions and if you want to connect regarding the course or about the implementations, you can drop us a mail at info@astTECS.com or sales@astTECS.com, or you can connect with our regional manager, which will help you out to get more insight on the course and the implementations and the details of the products. So until then, we wrap up here, and then we'll meet you again on 25th of September for the AI chatbot sessions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for your
everyone.
time. Thank you for presentation,
Thank you.
Mr. Abu.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.